Are we on? Hello, everybody. Let me just check that am I on? Okay. Yes, okay, I'm on. Gino says I'm on. Welcome, everybody, to Coffee Break Conversations, where we have conversations that matter, where we have conversations that are important and sometimes often very difficult to have, and tonight is one of those. I must just give you a warning that we will be talking about suicide and mental health and mental illness. And on the bottom of the screen, there will be a number for the suicide hotline number. If Gino could just put it up, there it is. Please take heed if you feel that you or anybody else will need to take this interview with that sort of warning. Another little caveat is that we are not therapists. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a psychologist. So we don't come with that context. We're just two friends having a conversation, a difficult conversation around suicide. Both Jenny and I share the experience of someone in our family. Jenny's is perhaps very raw. It is her son. But yeah, so just with all that in mind, I want to say to Jenny, she's going to pop up on the screen now. Welcome, Jen.
Thank you.
Oh, there he is. Welcome, Jen. Right. This is Jen Rowe. Jen is a friend, a long-time friend. I've known her for, I can't even remember since I met her. But in fact, where did we meet?
We met in Joburg. Hi, Sans. Thank you for having me on your chat show, and thank you for facilitating a difficult conversation. It's so important. We met in Joburg. I think it was through Graham and paddling.
Graham is your husband?
Yes, Graham's my husband. Fellow paddler with you. And
yes.
Yeah, we stayed in your flat, I think.
No, I think that's how I first met you, is I knew Graham before you.
Yes.
And then I think that's how we got to know. But that's a very long time ago, and I feel like our friendships just got more and richer and richer and just more wonderful. And of course, ups and downs. And tonight we're going to talk about a very traumatic part of your life. But let's just start off with, who is Jen Rowe? Tell me about you. Tell everybody who's listening, who are you?
Who am I? Some days I don't know who I am anymore, but I'm a woman. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm hopefully a very good friend. I'm a wife. And I'm a mom to two beautiful children. One that's with us and one that's with us spiritually and walks by our side every day. And I'm trying to, I'm a mom trying to find gratitude each day in amongst tough trauma. So, I've got businesses, got a busy life, which is also quite difficult in the space that I find myself in, because you've got so, you can't just say, well, I'm having a day off today. There's no days that you can have off. I've also got a job. So, I'm a busy person, which is perhaps good some days. Some days it's all overwhelming. But so in a nutshell, I'm a runner. I'm chair lady of our running club. Started Harfield Harriers in 1999.
How many members do you have?
We sit around about 170.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you still run, Jen?
Yeah, still running. It's what's kept me sane most days. It's really important, and that's we'll chat around that. I'd like to later about exercise and how it helps us.
Yeah, and you live in Cape Town.
Live in Cape Town. Got a guest house. Yeah, we've got a guest house in Cape Town.
Give it a plug. What's the name?
Harfield Guest Villa. If ever you come to Cape Town, come and stay.
Amazing.
So Gray runs it. Yeah.
Okay, so if we just start with the stats on suicide to open this. It's the third leading cause of death in the age group of 15 to 29. And that's after accidents and then homicide. Is that correct, Jen?
Yeah, that's correct.
And there's an estimated 730,000 people, and that's a really conservative estimate of people who take their lives in South Africa every year. And those are the ones we know about. What's really interesting for me is that more women attempt suicide but fail, and more men succeed in suicide. And those were interesting stats for me. And it speaks to me so clearly around a complete epidemic around it, and just an influx of unbelievable mental challenges that young people are faced. I mean, that third leading cause between 15 and 29 is quite something.
Yeah, it's terrifying, Sans, and it's the sad thing that you discover now is that there's such a stigma around the word suicide, even for me now, when we talk about it. It has this, we as I think as humans, you like to box things, you like to put names to things and figure things out, especially when they are difficult. So when you talk about suicide, everyone wants to go, oh, they must be depressed, and oh, it must be this and it must be that, or they were tough time at university, our story, or and so you tend to not look at the whole picture. And our children are struggling. Children are really, really struggling. We're living in such a tough environment. And those figures are way more because of the stigma. And that's what's so sad, that even though that number is horrific, it's not showing a true reflection of the numbers of people that are dying by suicide. Yeah.
Jen, we're going to get on to stigma, which I want to speak about. So I'm just flagging that so that I don't forget.
Okay.
But can you tell us a little bit about Kai, and can you tell us about the 9th of August, 2022?
Yeah, Kai was, I'm a mom and he's my child. So obviously I will rave about him, but he was a very special young man. He was bright. He was very clever. He could read at a very young age. When he was in pre-primary, some of the moms came to me and said, do you take your kid for reading lessons because he's reading? I mean, it was like, no, I read him Dr. Seuss at night. He was just a bright young man who had a very sensitive soul. And it was something that I was so proud about, because he had this compassion from a young age. And we talk about old souls, and he was one of those. He had these beautiful deep brown eyes, pools that would look deep into your soul. And yeah, he was happy. He was always joking. My mom lived with us. They used to play games. I'd come home and hear giggling from her room. They played dinosaurs and fire games. And so very happy childhood. Gray and I both, we had the guest house. We were both at home. We were parents that were around. We loved deeply and strongly. So we had a family unit, and there was lots of love in our home. And as he started journeying through primary school, you start noticing little changes, differences. He loved football. He was crazy. He always played with a soccer ball. And journeying through, in a school that didn't play football, when you sign up for a school, you don't know, where you're signing up for, that it's a rugby school. You don't know. Your first time parent, oh, that's okay. But when your child is yearning for something else and finding a passion, so there was conflict there and difficulties for him. And he was more an introvert, so he was quieter, but always taking things on, always facing. He was strong. He was brave. He was a quiet leader. He led. You'd come into a room and he had a presence, and that's been coming back over and over when we hear the stories about his presence when he walked into a room. But he was quiet with that, and he felt deeply. He took on causes at high school. He got involved with his friends and the struggles that they had, and all the topics that were going around, the Me Too movement, Black Lives Matter. He felt deeply. He cared deeply.
He did. I agree. He very deeply.
Yeah, and he took on others' pain, and he wanted to do whatever he could to help ease that pain, or to make sure that he was never one to cause that pain as he got older. And
Jen,
then, yeah. And then 9th of August, 2022, it's my birthday. As you know, I love my birthday. I was so honored that it was Women's Day and my birthday. So I've always had friends around. It's always been a time to go out for lunch or have people over. I love having all my friends. I've got a wonderful community of family and friends around me, and we've always celebrated the day. So on the 8th of August, we went to my running club and we had a big party. And the next day we went for lunch. And Kai was at university, and he said, look, he couldn't come back to have lunch with us because he had football in the afternoon and he'd have to just stay for an hour and then drive. And I said, that's absolutely fine. He was going away the next weekend with friends. So I said, don't worry about it. We'll see you when we see you. So it wasn't a big birthday, anything. So we went for lunch and still hadn't heard from Kai. He had a social that night on the Monday night. So I
then he was
thought, at Stellenbosch. Yeah. So I thought he had had a wonderful time and was hungover. So I wasn't worried at all that he hadn't called for my birthday. We came home after lunch and he still hadn't called, and we tried to get hold of him and we couldn't. And then we decided, why not drive out there because he had football, and let's go and take him for dinner, like meet him. And I had phoned the housemaster and asked him if he had seen Kai or anyone had seen him. Was there football? He said yes, no one had seen Kai, but he would phone the coach and see if Kai was at football. And while we were driving, he phoned. And he said, yeah, this is the worst call that I have to make. You need to come. I'm so sorry. Your son is dead. And yeah, so we came home, and a friend of ours came and picked us up and drove us through to Stellenbosch. And yeah, Kai had taken his life on the early hours of the 9th of August.
I'm so sorry, Jen.
Yeah, thanks. It's your whole life changes in that instant. It is something you never imagine. You can't. It's not something you've ever. I mean, you've experienced it in your family. It's Kai was, and the thing is, it was this huge shock because there was no, Kai had struggles, as we all do as young people going through our life, struggles that I'd felt growing up. You don't like your hair, you don't like your freckles, you don't, people are mean to you, you don't feel you fit in, you diet, you're too fat, we have these struggles that we go through, and he had struggles, and he had faced them, and he had worked through them, and he had taken a gap year after school, gone to make some money. Obviously, our business in COVID affected us badly. I mean, we've got a guest house, so financially it wasn't easy for us, and he wanted to contribute, and he wanted to go and make some money so that he had some independence and he could contribute. So he took a gap year. He went off and worked on boats when South Africa was banned with the COVID. We had that virus strain. He said no, he was going. He made a plan. He got on a boat. So he was brave and strong, and he was living. And he came back and said, look, let me try varsity, because if I don't go now, I don't know if I'll ever go, because he was making a lot of money on the boat. And he came back, and it was hard for him. He's not a boy's boy. He was in a res, but with guys, all guys, and it wasn't easy for him to make friends. And but he was making friends, and he was settling in, and he was playing for the res side and playing football, and he was finding his feet. He had made really good friends. He was going away the next weekend. He was planning a new year with guests of ours that had stayed here, students from overseas. He was planning to go back and work in December on the boat, so everything was fine. Yes, there were struggles, and he was a young man. We all experienced that, but that was what the shock was, that he's not the kid lying in bed saying there's no hope. Kai was hopeful. He always had this beautiful smile. He always believed that he could make a difference, that we could make a difference. But yeah, he had internal struggles that he didn't, share enough of the deep pain that he felt. I'm lucky as a mom, he shared with me. We've had beautiful, deep conversations. So I'm so privileged that I could share in that. But with that also comes pain, because as a mom, you're there as parents to protect your child, to guide them, to, we always say just get through school and the world opens up for you. Then you choose your direction and your path. So it's tough.
Sure. Jen. Just reliving that day must have been such a hard thing to talk about. And I do want to go back and ask you a little bit about the signs, whether there were any, that, but we can do that just now. What I do want to ask about is, how have you coped as a family? Where's the support coming from? Tell me about, I know that there's some great stories about Kai's friends who come and fill up your table, and I just want to hear about how it's been since then and how you've navigated things.
Yeah, so from that first phone call, our friends have swooned in, and you cannot express enough gratitude. Our family and friends have just held us. They've been there. They moved into our home. There were just people and food and taking over arrangements and helping us with those difficult decisions. They would just ask us, what do you want to do? And it was done. They arranged the memorial service, the schools, both the primary school that he was at and the high school. They both just came together, parents, friends, everyone. We have been so held, and I'm so grateful. I can't express enough how much that means to have that community. I have valued my friends going through my life. I've nurtured friendships. I've hopefully looked after friendships, and it's something that I can't. If anyone's listening, it's such to express to your children the value of friendship, of peers that will hold you, that you can be authentic with. So we have been surrounded from day one. There was food, there was conversations, there was some crazy laughter when you're in this numb phase where you actually can't believe anything's real. So we'd have this crazy laughter. I had friends drinking wine with ice who've never drunk. As you can see, I drink red wine with ice. Cheers. And people coming from overseas, family, friends. That's what's really helped us as a family. Hayden's friends and Kai's friends have held Hayden so much. It's the beauty of the good side of human nature.
But I also think how I know is, it's testimony to who you are and who your family is to people, because in fact you've done that for other people your whole life. So I'm just saying that you are that person.
I hope so. I hope I have. Sorry, I can't see you. I've got to put my glasses back
Glasses.
on.
I just want to go back to a little bit about the stigma, because our family, my brother committed suicide, and
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I remember at that time, in fact, I think Natalie, Chris's daughter, is online. She just posted something, so
Oh,
this would maybe be very sad for her. Um, I remember when it happened, and it the first time somebody said to me, "Oh, how did your brother die?" And I there's Natalie, and I said,
okay.
he had a tragic accident, and then I thought, you know what, I have to name this,
Mm,
because if you don't name it, then it feeds into the stigma.
hmm
And so, now when anyone asks me, I either say he took his own life or he committed suicide, because the more we talk about it, the more it becomes less of a stigma. Do you think that's correct?
Sandy, there are these two. There's two opinions. The one is the more you talk about it, you're giving it, you airing it, so it
Yeah,
becomes something that people see as options. That to me is just totally false. This is not something
yeah, I
that
agree.
someone does lightly. This is not. This is a brave human who's in huge pain and who it's just life has become overwhelming. In that moment, I don't believe that it is often that you live with it every day of your life. I've experienced that. We've experienced that. Kai was our teacher in so many things. So I think we have to talk about it, and I
Yeah,
think we have to keep talking about it, because it's real. Those stats are not, they're there. That's a figure, and it's more than that. So the more we talk about these things, the more we can understand, and the more we can help people. So people that don't want you to talk to children about it, and because then that's fear. That's fear. That's not understanding. Um, we are in a crisis. Our children
totally.
and just children. We are in crisis. We need to try find a way for to reach children. For me, it's about reaching the kids, the children when they come to, because that has been my journey, and I believe that you can speak when you've experienced something, and we've experienced it. It's that journey into to junior school, when you're coming out of your home space and you're moving into peer space, and you're being handed over to other people who will influence you, which is a route that we're all going to take. But how
Sure.
do we ensure children are entering that space secure in themselves, those little 6 and 7 year olds? And there should be steps at school that facilitate that. There should be peer groups where we're talking to our kids about how was it today? What happened to you? How did you feel when this happened? Instead of entering into this huge space where a teacher's got how many kids in a class? Some 38, some classes 42, some 20, some private schools 22 maybe. But you've got to teach to the group. You can't teach to each individual. So there needs to be facilitation. For me, it's vital in schools where
Yeah,
we are talking to children and letting them know that what they're feeling is okay, and that they can speak up and they can tell their friend, because the friend next to them is probably feeling the same thing. But if
totally.
you don't speak about it, they don't know that. They feel like they're different. And so for me, it's conversations, it's talking, and it's trying to build little humans that feel that no matter what's happening inside, they're okay. It's okay to feel like that, and that they can speak about it, and that they can find a way to deal with life, because life is not going to change. The things that are surrounding us are there. The hard times, the people coming at you, the fact you're different to the one next door, you're not fitting that mold of the school or whatever, that's going to continue. A teacher telling you you're stupid. But how do you absorb that information? How do you deal?
Going back to the stigma, which is, what is the stigma? The stigma is that if you are having mental challenges, that you're weak. I think that's the stigma. So for me, it's like the stigma is, oh, if somebody takes their life, then, they weren't strong enough or whatever it is. And that's why I love what you say about the messaging so early in life, that it's okay to be sensitive. It's okay to be feeling overwhelmed. It's okay. And you're not alone. Like,
Absolutely.
that for me
You're not alone.
the messaging. Yeah. If anything, for me, for both Kai and for my brother Chris, there's, if that, and I'm not saying that there wasn't the support, there was absolutely the support, but in that moment, there wasn't for them. And it's because of years and years of that stigma for me, of like, you have to show up being, strong, especially men. And I don't know if that rings bells for you or if it makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, Sans. I mean, these things like man up and don't be a wuss, and that's why for me words matter. I mean, once this was our journey, it was the words that you don't realize the impact on sensitive people, and all of us, but some of us can shrug it off. It still has an impact. I mean, we remember things that people have said to us from so long ago, but we've dealt with it. It doesn't mean it's okay. It's not okay. And it's to say that that's not very kind. So that is what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that we can grab those kids, that we can nurture them, that we can talk to them, because we're all in therapy. I mean, and therapy is vital. I mean, I believe in it. I've always said that. Therapy for me is a huge asset. Someone that's just there to go and speak to, it's not subjective, it's vital. But why do we need all our kids to go to therapy to survive the world? If we can help them when they're little, before these things become ingrained in them, the shame, this feeling like I'm not good enough, if we can help them along that journey to have a group where they can speak and they can discover themselves. We're all going to have issues. That's life. We're all going to feel something. But if you feel you're not alone, because it's that you're not alone and you're not worthy, and the world will be better off if I'm not there. That is one of the key factors of suicide.
So, Jen, this is a good time for you to introduce what you've done with all this energy of yours, this grief and this really tough, traumatic loss. And you've turned it around, turning it around and putting it into something quite amazing. And I really want you to talk about, and I think I must put my T-shirt on as now. Let me find it.
Yeah, I'll stand up a bit there. You can see my card.
So, Jen, I want you to introduce and how it happened and where you got the name from. I mean, can't make so much sense, but how did that happen and what is it and what can we do?
Okay, so when Kai died, it was this, I think, and I think a lot of people will identify with this who've lost children. You want to tell the world that about your child. You want to speak about them and you want to make a change. You want to make a difference. You want to make the world a better place so that no one else has to experience this pain. If I can help one family never have to go through this trauma, I will feel that I have achieved something. And in my healing, living with purpose has been something that is what gets me up in the morning. And obviously, Hayden, we have another son, and I get up for Hayden, and we get up for Hayden as a family. Gray and I are focused on making sure he's writing matric, that he is okay. That's a purpose. So that's what gets you up. But how do we honor the beautiful legacy of Kai? And it was coming up to...
His name was Kai, is Kai. I mean, it was, how did you name him that? Just go back to that because it's an unusual.
The naming. we had lots of names. My mom was living with us and she was inputting with names, and we went around and around. And eventually she came and said, "What about Kyron?" We went, "Oh, that's a nice name. But how do we spell that?" And she went, "Well, Kyran." And we went, "Oh, okay. That's a good name." And that's how Kyron came to be. He didn't like his name because no one could pronounce it. They would go Kieran, and yeah, he came to own his name eventually. um, so yeah, it was, how do I speak to, especially also his peers, his friends, the school children. How do I get them to talk? I felt this desperate need to have conversations, to see if in any way, through what we had gone through, that I could share my story and help children. I had this desperate need to help. Kai was a helper. He was someone who listened. He has helped lots of kids. They've come and told me their stories through tough times. And I wanted to carry on his legacy of kind. And I believe in kindness. So I thought, how do I do this? So I offered my time. We put up a bench, thanks to all our friends who gave donations and money. We put a bench at Westerford with a beautiful plaque, and I would go and sit there on a Friday and invite people to come, the kids at school during their break, to come and sit and chat to me about anything. And I've had beautiful conversations on that bench. And then we put a bench in Stellenbosch and for Kai, and that is also apparently a beautiful space for them. It's in the courtyard, where they spend time, the students. So that was one way to start facilitating. If you're sitting on the bench, just go, just someone, if they're alone, go and sit next to them. Just say hi, if you want to chat, or just sit next to them. So that was the one way. And then I thought, but how do I reach more people? And we came to the first year anniversary, my birthday, and anniversary of Kai's death. And I thought, how do I start taking steps to healing, to really reaching out to kids, to people, to parents? How do I do this in a bigger space, so that I've got purpose each day, and that hopefully in what I do I can help others to understand how words matter. That was that we need to have these difficult conversations. So I thought of a T-shirt. We were going to do a walk on, well, we do a walk on Notuk Beach. It's our second year now, on the 9th of August. So I thought a T-shirt. Then I thought, oh, but I don't have the funds to buy everyone a T-shirt. I'd love to do that. I can't sell T-shirts to all my friends to come and walk on the 9th. So then I thought, I'm going to do a brand. And my friend for Kai's 21st had written him a beautiful. Kai was so excited to have his 21st, which he never did. So we had a 21st for him. And she wrote a beautiful message to him about how he epitomized kind. And she wrote it Kynd.
Oh, wow.
And it was just so
Suddenly.
apt.
Yeah.
So beautiful. So I thought, okay, that's what I'm going to do. I thought about a foundation, and friends spoke to me and just said, no, it's going to take too much energy and money and admin, and I'm terrible at admin. So I thought, okay, how do I reach? And for me, Kai was always struggled to enter a group. He wasn't a small talker, being an introvert. So for him, it was, what do I say? Like, how do I start a conversation in a group? So I thought, if we create this beautiful brand, the logo is it was his tattoo. He tattooed a tree.
Oh, yeah, I want to know about that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's his tattoo. A friend of ours helped me with the logo. She traced the exact picture of him. So that is his tree. And then Kind. And Kind is a brand overseas. It's a lifestyle brand. So I put the dash in, And it's perfect because that's Kai. There's my friend Lorraine. Hi, Lorraine. That's Lorraine who is responsible for Kai.
For the client.
Name.
Oh, amazing.
Hi,
Okay, love
Lorraine.
it. Good for her.
So that's how we got Kind. And the dash is perfect because that's his name. So that's how, yeah, the brand. So it's
What is
to,
kind?
we,
What is it for you? What is it? Give me a
so Kind.
purpose and the bigger picture and all of that.
Okay. So Kind is for me about starting and igniting difficult conversations. That for me is the core of Kind. And it's hopefully when you wear your t-shirt, someone asks you, "Oh, what is that?" and can't say the name. And you can tell them the story. And it's about kindness and it's about spreading kindness. And it sounds like a simple topic and conversation, but it's not. It's about words matter. So I have underneath the logo, we've got three of our, so one's kind words matter, kind just be it. Oh yeah, me too. And then kind live with purpose. So yeah, it's kindness, it's kind, and kind is a new word. Kind is not just being kind. It's with purpose, it's with intention. So I'm hoping that this will ignite conversations. I'm hoping that we can go out and that this campaign can spread across the world, that we can spread kindness first to ourselves, because that's vital. That's what
Absolutely.
we are having to learn. Us as a family, we have to be kind to ourselves. We have to, yeah, because if you're not kind to yourself and you don't love yourself, it's very hard to give out to others. You just deplete yourself. So it's hard to do that. I'm wanting to reach children. I'm wanting to tell my story because I believe in telling our stories. We can heal ourselves and we can touch others, and hopefully in doing that we can help other people. So that's my main message. I'm wanting to get people out into nature. I'm doing kind walks. I want to start that, and kind talks. So get us talking, and kind apparel. And then also one of my big motivator is raising money for Operation Smile South Africa.
I love
Uh,
that.
it's a Kai when he was in high school and he had left his junior school. He was going to a high school with all new kids. They didn't have a junior school, so it's a mix of children coming in. He used to say, "Mom, what do I say when I stand in a group? I don't know how to." I said, "Just smile, Kai, because once you smile, you allow others to engage with you. Even if you don't have anything to say, you're opening yourself up." So, because it was difficult for him, but if you go in and you in your headspace, you have this face that no one wants to engage with you. So he had a smile tattooed on his wrist. People always speak about his beautiful smile. There was one guy at Stellenbosch who would make sure he got up in the morning. He was on the opposite side of the residence, and he'd make sure he walked past Kai's room just to have him say good morning and see his smile. I mean, it's so Operation Smile is cleft palate. It's operations that people volunteer, doctors, surgeons. It's an incredible organization, and it's the gift of a smile. And so it's very appropriate for me and for Kind. So that is our charity partner.
And Jen, so if people, I mean, you speak about kind talks and kind walks, and so just give me a broader picture about what would the wish be for like 5 years time? Like, would you want, like the AA do circles? Could there be kind circles around where, you could facilitate people who needing just to be immersed in good, honest conversations with support? I mean, would that be something that you would want to do?
Sans, I would love to. I mean, obviously it's early days, so we all still healing, but I find strength in helping other people. It takes you, I think it's so vital to give out, because you feel better about yourself too. So yes, any facilitating conversations. My dream wish is to get into schools. I know that's very difficult, very difficult.
Why is
So
it so
maybe
difficult? Like, what is the barrier for that?
it's education departments. It's, what are you offering? And I don't, I don't believe that the work that I can do is about telling people how we should be, like do this and you will be like this. I'm about community and I'm about listening. I think to give our kids a voice that will be heard with compassion and love is the gift that I want to give. So yes, those kind circles, if we could do that in schools, but maybe that's a big dream. So maybe starting those circles outside of schools. Um, yeah, I mean, that is my dream, is just igniting these conversations and facilitating just peers talking to each other, that they're not alone. It's the loneliness. It's that feeling that it's just me and there's something wrong with me and no one would want to be my friend, and no one would want to hear my story or my pain. And that is just so not true. And I know that Kai struggled with that. And if only he only had to just reach out, and there would have been so many people there to help him. And, we talk about suicide helplines, and they are vital. But not a lot of people feel like they can phone them either.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
need to start and that's what I'm wanting to do. That before we have these big ingrained issues of I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, and shame, and if we can catch it then when we're young, and work and nurture this soul that feels they deserve a place here, that they are worthy, no matter what comes at you, no matter how tough life is, you have that inner strength that I'm okay, and it's okay if I'm not okay today, but tomorrow's another day, and I have a friend that I can phone and say, hey, I'm struggling, can you just come over? To have confidence that that friend wants you to phone, them. It's that belief that you are worthy enough and that you are loved, and that there is someone there that loves you and cares for you. And yeah. So,
yeah. And I suppose it does really come down to also acknowledging that I mean, they call them oversensitive kids, but I think they're luckily sensitive. Instead of thinking it's something that is, like weak or whatever, that the beauty of being sensitive for me is that you're so in touch with the world, and you're so in touch with what the human emotion, and that's got to count for a lot. And so instead of that sort of sensitivity being sort of marginalized as something, oh, shame, it's too sensitive. It's like we should be asking sensitive people about the world, because they're the early warning system. And there's such value for that. And yeah, I mean, I wish the narrative would change around that.
yeah, that's beautiful, Sani, because that's exactly how I feel. I'm so proud that we have raised these two beautiful young men that feel and care deeply, and it's such a gift. And
We need
exactly,
more
and
of
that's
them.
what, how do we nurture that gift? How do we make them feel that is a gift, and it is a beautiful thing? Yes, you're going to feel pain, and
Yeah.
yes, it's tough, but it's okay because it will be worth it. I mean, and I used to say to Kai, you're going to have so much empathy when you get older. You've got this amazing gift.
Beautiful.
Your life
Yeah.
hasn't been like an easy journey, but you are going to be able to help people as you go. And and yeah, our children, it's a gift, and it should be celebrated and valued, and we need to somehow reach the children and tell them that it is and everyone actually, and how we talk to each other. You hear we have these conversations. You go to a supermarket and you hear, like I heard a mom the other day going, screaming at her child, you're going to be the cause of my heart attack. And like, Like, and you just think like, what are you saying?
Um,
Just awareness. We all stressed. We all living in a world that's digital. Kids are having to deal with so much input. Nothing's the same anymore. We doing this as well. I'm also looking on Zoom. We all, pictures, and before we need conversations in physical form. You need to learn those keys. People are on devices all the time, Zooms and WhatsApps, but we're not sitting physically together and learning from each other the cues that we have.
Jen, I mean, it's a hard question, but the signs, are there ever any? Is it something we should be as parents, and do worried parents get hold of you? And like, how does that happen? Because I know with my brother, there wasn't, well, certainly for me, there wasn't a sign. And having that, it makes you feel helpless, because what could I have done is the question. And I don't know the answer to that. And certainly in my own experience with our own family, we don't know. We still don't know. And so for other parents who maybe have children who are, or family members or loved ones who are experiencing some form of anxiety or depression, or like, how does that conversation start? And what's, where does it all sit?
Yeah, sounds sure. I wish I had all those answers because, obviously we are also, and I'm also going through my journey with Kai, and the things I could have done and things that I maybe should have done. But I think as parents, if you are listening, and I think that for me is one of the, if I could just speak to people to listen, as a parent, you want to provide solutions. When your child comes and there's a problem, you want to offer solutions like, do this and don't worry, you're amazing and it's all going to be fine. And where you don't just say, just tell me how you feel. How did that make you feel? I don't think we sit with it enough. And that's what I'm saying when I say it's okay to not be okay, to
Mm,
actually just listen to their pain. You don't need to offer solutions. If they feel heard and valued, that for me is one of the key factors. I mean, obviously, I'm sitting here as a mom who had lots of conversations, but I used to also try and fix it. Don't worry, it's going to get better. This, do this, but not really keying into, because you're scared. You don't want to see your child in pain.
absolutely.
You want to
Yeah.
make it better. So we all rush to fixing it, like go and exercise if they feel they've put on weight. Go and exercise and don't, watch what you eat, instead of just saying, well, why do you feel like that? How is it? Just sitting and listening to them and stressing the importance of peers, because we are their parents and we have a value, a huge value, but your peer group and the world outside becomes so important to people. And us, you get your value from looking at how people are responding. Am I going to be liked? Teenagers wanting to be liked by opposite sex or the same sex, depending on where you are. But you look outside, so it's building that within yourself. It's helping your kids find that within themselves instead of just offering solutions. That's yeah. I
I
don't
mean,
know.
it's
I
so
don't
nice
think any
to
of
know
us have.
that your relationship with Kai was so plugged in. It was so beautiful. And thank goodness for that, because he had that with you.
Yeah,
He did.
he did,
So
but it's still hard that even with that, he couldn't reach out that night, because I know that he would be here and he'd be living and he would be journeying and he'd be finding himself. So, yeah, I mean,
and
I
very
don't,
loved all of that. Yeah.
he was so loved, but he he didn't love himself enough.
Mm.
And whatever
Yeah.
those things that, you know, were painful for him, his own inner pain, he was, he just couldn't see the light that night, and he wanted to get rid of the pain, and I think that's what's so sad, and that's why you hear that more men take their life, is because they, they make sure that they're going to take their life, where a lot
Yeah.
of females and women will take an overdose, or it's a soft, and they get intercepted somewhere down the line, where so yeah.
Sure, Jen. I mean, it's such a tough conversation. I'm in awe of hearing your honesty and your vulnerability around this. It's such a tough, it's so hard. It's amazing. And thank you for your bravery to answer these questions. It can't be easy.
And
And
how
so,
was it for you? Can I ask you,
yeah,
Sam?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
How
For
was
my
it for you as a sibling? Yeah.
I think, I mean, he was one of 5 kids. So we all have our own experiences, and I'm not sure, I know my sisters are listening. So I can only speak for myself, but for me, it was the hugest shock I've ever had, because I wasn't living in Joburg. I wasn't part of his everyday life. So it's difficult for me, but I think that the thing for me, and this may not be true for you, is the unanswered questions.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I mean, I always thought, I still go back to why. He didn't leave a note, and he didn't do any of those things. It was quite out of the blue. So for me, it was a traumatic shock, and still, I don't understand it. And I'm not sure that one does, because, when you have a suicide in your family, it's amazing how widespread it is. How many people get hold of us and said, my aunt, my uncle, my child, I don't know if you found that, but suddenly most families I found were affected somewhere along the line by suicide. And then you realize how deep this is. And so, I mean, even today, and Chris died in 2016, I think, we're still left with the raw shock of going, why, and what could we have done? And that, I think, is just how we live with it. As I say, I can't speak for my mom, and I can't speak for my siblings, but for me, there's always just a question, and it's a traumatic question, and there are no answers.
Yeah, and I think that it's that for me, it's that conflict, knowing who Kai was, and his
Yeah,
sensitivity,
yeah,
and never wanting to hurt anyone. That was one of his driving forces. He never wanted to be the cause of anyone's pain, and that he has caused us so much pain. So you live with this wanting to honor him and say it was his decision, and it was his decision in that moment and at that time, and I respect that, because I respect him. But how do you live with this
yeah,
pain and
yeah,
on the same time? I used to listen to music. I loved dancing and singing. There was always music. I can't listen to music anymore, because a lot of it's written when someone's in pain, or they've lost a love, or they've found love, or and
yeah,
I hear words.
yeah,
I never used to hear the words. Graham always used to go, "What do you know what you're singing about? Do you know what the song?" And no, I don't know, I'm just singing. But now I hear words. They are so clear, and it's this pain that's at such a cellular level. And if I need, I want to honor him, Kai, and he would want me to be dancing and singing and living and laughing, and so I want to do that so deeply, but I'm so sad. So you have this every day. You wake up and you go, okay, now he's not here. It's still not really real.
yeah. I don't know if it
But
is.
you just it's overwhelming at times. You try to live, and you try to give, and you try to, and I am trying, and but it's tough. It's tough, and then you want to go, okay, Kai, today I'm going to live. You walking beside me. We're going to do this. I'm going to do it, and then something will happen, and you just go, what? And it's yeah, we just
I mean, I think, for my niece, it's Chris's biological daughter. I think she feels the same. I think it's really hard for her. It was her dad,
yeah,
and I think that in many ways that's the hardest cut. It's like your son, and the lack of closure around it is, I think, the hardest thing. And to make, I don't know if you make peace with it, but to kind of just be with it somewhere along the line, so that you do get up every day and you have a whole other life. But actually, in the middle of all of this, there's just it's just as you describe
yeah.
it.
Yeah, and everything has changed. That person that you were on the 8th of August is
Yeah,
not the person you were and will be ever again on the 9th. So you're having to find yourself and redefine the places and the things that make you feel okay. Even like going to any, the occasions you used to go to, they're difficult now. You're not that same person anymore. And so by giving back and by finding purpose, it makes you feel like, okay, maybe through this pain I can help others, and
yeah.
that is what I'm really hoping for, that I can help others
So
find a
what should
way
we
through
do? Should
it.
we buy kind T-shirts for everyone we know? How does
Yes,
it work? And what should we do? Tell us.
yes.
They should
So
go on the website, which is there, right?
go on the
Kind.
website www.ky-kind.co.za and buy a tee. And I hope that when you wear it, that you feel different. I know I do, but obviously it's because
I
it's
do
from
too.
me. But there's something about it when I wear it. It's a reminder to be kind. Those little acts of kindness. Some days I'm terrible driver when people drive badly, and sometimes I don't let people in, and then I think, oh my gosh, I've got a kind sticker
Just
on
be
my
kind.
car. I better
Especially when you
be
don't want to
kind.
be. Especially when you don't want to be.
Yeah. So
But
it's that reminder.
and just in terms of how people can get hold of you, is it via that website? You're happy for them to get hold of you via Kind website. If anyone wants to reach out with other sort of help or
Okay.
suggestions or anything, they can get hold of you via that website.
Or hello, they can email me. It's hello@ky-nd.co.za. They're welcome
Okay.
to email me. Yeah, and if
Yeah,
anyone wants to help me with this campaign, anyone has ideas, anyone has, a way that we can do this. I mean, Sans, you once spoke about a kind phone-in line. I think that is
yeah,
just
yeah.
also such a beautiful.
That could work. It's like, so the idea behind that was just to catch people doing kind things and then share it. So
Yeah,
it could be someone you know, or someone you don't know, or someone in the supermarket, and then just share it on a forum where you go, this person was kind to me. And so that for me was like, if you're feeling like a little bit down or whatever, you can go onto this kind platform and see what people are doing for one another. I
exactly.
think would be really lovely, especially when you are feeling, that the world isn't kind. Like, where do you go when the world doesn't feel kind? Well, you can go to the Kind website or the platform. you know
Exactly.
I love
Exactly.
that.
And often,
Jen?
Sans, for me as well, like when you say that, when the world's not feeling kind, I've also felt like if you just go and do something kind
Yes.
for someone else, it makes you feel better. And that's that whole circle of kindness. It just like weaves itself round and round, and you feel better. So that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, and then maybe whoever's listening, if you've got any other ideas of how to share the
Yes.
kind, the circle, well, let's do it. If anyone's got expertise around technology that can help,
Yeah, exactly. And it's a technology, and it's about community, and it's about spreading the kind campaign. And I would love help thinking of kind ambassadors, kind
Oh, that's
days.
lovely. Oh, I love kind days.
Yeah,
Every day
kind
should be
days.
kind days, actually.
It's just that
Um,
reminder. Get people wearing
yeah.
teachers wearing kind shirts, doing a work day at work. Let's have a kind day at work. So yeah, that would be my dream. Seeing kind around the world.
And if any
Because
teachers
it's
wanted
yeah,
Jenny to come and talk and to start kind circles, that would also be really useful. Any teachers that can sort of bypass the red tape, etc.
that
That
would
would
be
be wonderful.
amazing.
I think it really does start at school. I think it starts because that's when people start getting unkind,
Exactly.
you know, when they go there.
Exactly.
So Jen, just to wrap up, what else can you tell us about you and tomorrow morning when you wake up, and how do you feel? How have you felt during this interview? Has it been very traumatic? Has it been a good thing? Just like I always talk what's real. So
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had a great week. I'm feeling sad. So yeah, obviously to talk about it is difficult. Like we're saying, it's that stigma again. It's like, you know, when you talk about it, it's real. You can be distracted. Distraction's amazing as well. If you're really feeling overwhelmed, I can advise that distract yourself. Don't sit in that feeling. Go out, get out into nature, go and jump in a cold sea pool or your swimming pool. That's helped me. So distraction is something that is really amazing. If I'm feeling overwhelmed, I head to the sea. I know you also, Sans, you're a sea girl and you surf. There's something that resets you. It's that tide that comes in and out. And I'm so glad my friends got me into a cold pool, because I'm a Derbs girl. There was no ways I was going in any cold
into that freezing cold water.
water.
No,
Yeah. And I got
but you
in, and
did.
I find
Brave.
cold water now wherever I go.
I
Waterfalls,
mean,
it resets.
Kai has made you brave.
He has. He's made, and I have to be brave. I have
And
to be brave. I'm a mom to another beautiful young man, and I need to show up. And he deserves the best of me. He deserves the best mom that I can be, and I will do that for him, and I will be that for him and for Gray and my family and my friends. They're holding me, and I will show up, and we will find a way together because it's about community. And it's about all
and
of you beautiful people, and
and
you,
we're
Sandy.
never alone. We are never alone. I
Yeah,
mean, I think
we are.
that's maybe another strap line here on your t-shirt.
I love that. Yes,
Yeah,
thank you. Strap
never
line. That's what
alone.
it's called. The
Yeah,
strap
is that what
line.
it's called? I don't know. I see
No, you
Gillian
said it.
on there. She'll tell us what strap line means. I'm just
It's
using
a
a word I
strap.
don't know anything about.
Okay, a
Um,
strap line. Okay, yes, you
uh,
are not alone, because that we are not. And the funny thing, I'm when now just when I'm feeling low and down, or you always got, please phone me, when you feel, and I know that I can pick up that phone, but you don't. When you're feeling low and you're feeling sad, you actually don't pick up the phone. So that's
uh,
when you need to get yourself up and go and do some exercise, because we can say, reach out, phone a friend. Often you just don't have the capacity, or you feel like your friends. For me, my friends have traveled this path and family for 2 years now. You don't want to, so you go and exercise, or you jump in that cold pool with a friend. You don't have to say anything, but
the word,
it's a reset. But yeah, know that you're not alone.
Oh, Jen, that's such a great way to end this. And so, my wish for you and for Gray and Hedy and your family is a lot of kindness, both towards you and the way that you emanate it. in the way that you spread it. And I think that this campaign will take, will take forms and ways that you won't even know, but it's all started because of you. And I know everyone's in my family is going to get a T-shirt again. I think they've all got theirs, but we're coming back for you. and just the heart sore of it and the appreciation that you have been on this and spoken about it. Again, if anybody is feeling like they're triggered and they want to speak to someone, there's the suicide helpline. I think if Gino can put it up again, if he can't, it is widely available. And of course, head to Kind, there it is. There's the helpline. And of course, head to Kind, kynd.co.za with a dash between the K and the ND, and go and buy those T-shirts. And let's just every day show up with kindness. Jen, you're a brave, beautiful woman. I'm lucky to know you. I'm lucky that you're my friend. And yeah, I'll see you when I'm in Cape Town.
Oh, thanks, Sam. Thanks for this
guys.
Oh, Gino, you're back.
Thank you. No, I'm just doing tech tonight, but just say that what a wonderful conversation, and I've learned a lot about this tonight because it's just what you were saying, especially then. It's just relentless, It's that every day you've got to get up and you've got to make things happen. It doesn't stop, and so many warm messages from everybody online here. I see I see all the comments coming up here, and just so much love being sent as well. I think you've really touched people's hearts tonight. Sandy, fantastic. I just love it.
It helps if Jenny and I know each other really well, so she could tell me, "Oh, Sandy, shut up."
I know, it's so beautiful.
But the nice thing about this podcast video interview is that it's online forever. So, we can spread it around if we need to. Yeah, Gillian, I agree. Show up with kindness. I love that. You could also put that over here. Show up with kindness.
Yeah, show up with kindness.
Are we still live?
Yes, we are still live. We are still live.
Yes,
please.
Yeah. Oh, that's a cool one. I don't have that vision. I don't have that. I'm going to come for that version of that T-shirt. I feel
that's
like
the
I
new
need
one.
I'll be on the side tonight.
I love it.
An absolute star. Thank you. And we'll speak
Sandy,
soon.
Thank you for this platform. Honestly, I really appreciate it.
It's an absolute pleasure. And
nice to meet you.
It's a pleasure, and thank you for coming on and sharing everything, because I think it's so needed. The kindness website, the helpline, everything that's there that you don't think about in daily life. You get so wrapped up in what you're doing day to day, and when something like this happens, it's your whole world that changes completely. And I can see that in you, Jen. It's changed the path of your life, and assisting people, helping people, and trying to see those, spot those things, that, or like you say, you can't. You can only try and get the word out, get some awareness out there. So encouragement for everybody to go to the website, have a look, and join on if you feel that way. Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us.
Gino.
Thanks, Sandy. The coffee breaks are amazing. I love Sandy because she dives into areas that I can't. As a comedian, my life, it's people's perception of me doesn't really allow for this, and it's so good because relationships and people are everything in your life. What else is there, So thank you, Jen.
Exactly. Thank you, Bert. Thank you, Stan. Love you. Thank you, Gino. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. And thank you to our sponsors, Fitch and Leeds and Amobia for our internet. Yes, we have. We have. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you next week as well. And here's some more comments here. I see. Thank you, Cindy and Gillian. Beautiful conversation as well. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll be back next week. All right. Let me
Thank you.
put the branding back up here. All right.
Okay.
Ciao. Ciao, everyone.